Welcome to Turton Talks with Stephen Turton, and this week I'm joined with Sheffield Steelers defenseman, Grand Slam winner Kevin Tansey. So, Kevin, first question for yourself is, how's it been so far this season for you?
Oh, it's been nice. It's been good to get back to see everyone. It's a little bit of a short summer, but it's for good reasons coming back to play in the Champions League. So it's fun to see everybody that we had last year and meet the new face that we have this year, and it's looking to be going good so far.
And then, obviously, back end of last season, you were kind of pretty much the first one announced to be coming back. How was it for your summer having that situation where you knew you were coming back, everyone knew, people weren't asking you questions, and you could enjoy summer and know you were coming back for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, at the end when we won the third trophy there and everyone started chanting, sign him up, I kind of gave the old little signature beside Foxy, and that kind of made the secret was out. I signed, I think it was, I don't know, it was early. I signed like 2 months before the season was done last year, just because I was so happy being here. So, and it's also a big load off Lauren and I, just knowing where we're going the next year. Oftentimes you wait out to see what teams are going to approach you and what teams you might want to go, and you do some research on whether it's a good country, whether it's a good team, whether it's a good coach. And I had all that information, obviously, with the season we had last year. So it was an easy decision and just nice to be able to not have to worry about it over the summer.
No, and obviously you're not the only person that's come back. I mean, how much did it mean to you the fact that you were coming back? Everyone was being announced. I'm sure you had the conversation and stuff that you knew was coming. You had a chance to obviously have those players back again with you, so it wasn't a whole new group that you had to bed
Yeah,
in with.
it's definitely way better to have to learn only like 5 or 6 names versus a whole 18 or 19 names of new teammates. So that was cool. And last year we became such a close-knit team that I think it was a pretty easy decision for the most of us to come back to Sheffield. And like I said, it was just nice seeing everybody after a few months off, and started off like we just never left each other basically. So that was awesome.
And of course, with the friends that you've got and everything like that, you're in a position that before you came here again, it was another wedding that you had to experience for a couple of days before you come in with your dancing and everything.
Yeah, it was yeah, Champ's wedding was pretty fun before coming. We basically went to the wedding on the Saturday and flew out on the Sunday. So it was a little bit of a stinky plane ride, but it was fun. It was nice to celebrate Champ and Christina, their big day, and then get back to work.
Perfect. And obviously, getting back to work, you already have. I mean, pre-season, Robert Dowd was with DB, wasn't really around the camp for the first couple of weeks until you went to CHL. How much of an honour was it continuing from last season to have the C on the jersey during pre-season?
Yeah, it was a big honor. Whenever you're representing a club as a captain, any club really, it's an honor. And when you get to do it for a club like the Sheffield Steelers, it's huge. Being able to step in for Rob when he was away playing for Team GB was big shoes to fill, because I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. He's the greatest captain I've ever played with. I can't say enough good things about Rob. So I wanted to do him honorably by being a good captain in his time away.
And obviously being a captain as well with the Steel Dogs players being introduced into the lineup and the new guys. I mean, how did you find those couple of games at Sheffield and going away to Storm for pre-season?
Yeah, I mean it's certainly not playing at Utilita. We love playing in Utilita, and we're excited to be there this coming weekend for the first games. But playing at Ice Sheffield was cool. We had a couple games there last year, so we knew kind of the lay of it, and we practiced there a good amount during the season too. So it wasn't too alien for us, but I think it was good to ease in some of the new guys to the pace. Became a little bit quicker because of the size of the rink was a little bit smaller, and I think some of the new guys saw the fans at Ice Sheffield and thought, oh, this is a good fan turnout, and really excited for them to see what our real games are like at Utilita. So I think they'll be pretty crazy when we finally get it back in there. And it was good for the new guys too, to ease them back into it. The young guys too, to get a sense of where they'll be playing and when they play with us in Utilita, then it's an even bigger stage.
That's it. And obviously, bigger stages lead up to the CHL. I mean, obviously, performances wise, we'll go into depth for it. But I mean, how was it going to Switzerland with the group? Obviously the new guys that you got to introduce to the team, but going and traveling there. I mean, how was that traveling that first couple of days leading up to the CHL games?
Yeah, it was really cool. Whenever you travel on the road, you get to see different places, you get to play in different countries, play against different levels. It's always exciting. You want to raise your game for those type of games because I mean, it's the highest level of hockey in Europe. So, being able to play against some of those teams and some of the resumes that some of those guys have on different teams in SHL and the Swiss league is pretty cool. The first team that we played, I think they had like 1,100 or 1,200 experience games in the NHL. So it was pretty cool to see some of those guys and see what they can do and how we compared to them.
And of course, playing the first couple of minutes, taking a 2-goal lead. I know it's early in proceedings, but the fact to take that such an early lead, getting them to take a timeout. I mean, what's going through your mind as a player, knowing so early on, given the fact that you've just done that when people are
Yeah.
expecting you not to do it?
I mean, I think there was a lot higher expectations in our group than teams thought that we'd have. We knew what we had in our locker room, and we knew what we did last year with virtually the same group of guys, and then some new guys who arguably made our team even stronger this year. So we were excited to take that 2-goal lead and kind of stun them a little bit, and then played a competitive game throughout the game after. I think the 2-goal lead at the beginning was almost like a shock to us, even though we did know that we could match their level. Just stinging them like that kind of got us pretty excited, and then we had to reel it back once it became 2-2. But we put up a good fight, and it really prepared us and gave us confidence for the games going forward, showing that we can hang with anybody in this Champions League.
And that must be the thing, you see on social media, your Steelers fans are very much, no matter what happens, have got your back. And then other teams are always looking for that little thing. I mean, how much outside noise do you have? Obviously, you've got a lot more time when you're traveling and stuff on coaches and planes and stuff to see what people are saying about those games after they're done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly active on social media when it's not near game time, but on game days and the nights leading up before game day, I tend to put the social media a little bit away, try not to listen to the noise and just focus on what I can do and what I know the team can do. So in that sense, we knew we were underdogs coming in for sure. Just being from the English league and knowing different leagues around and the strength of different leagues around, we knew that. But when it came down to it, you're playing a hockey game and it's 60 minutes, no matter who you're playing against, and you just want to put out your best effort and see what happens.
And then, of course, Saturday, Sweden, Lakers. Obviously, another big opportunity. A lot of fans were able to make the trip as well. How did that feel? That game, that atmosphere before. Was the confidence from Thursday? Did that bleed through into the game, or was it just the same game plan to showcase what you guys could do?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the confidence played into it. It's like anything when you're doing well in anything, you have confidence in it. And we knew we had put up a good fight on against the Swiss team. So we wanted to come in and play with the same kind of jump at the beginning and get the first goal. That was important to us. And then, we learned our lesson to once we get the first goal, we just sustain it and keep on playing instead of sitting back a little bit maybe. And we did a good job of that where we held the lead for a while and having our fans there was awesome. I think we had 300 fans that made the trip to both games. So it was really cool to see the support that we got out there. And that's huge for players and for the club to be able to, travel, I think it's 14, 15 hours away to be able to come see us on the road, which it was cool for both us and them.
And then for the game itself, when it goes to overtime, obviously it's just an achievement in itself to get that point. But what kind of goes through your head, especially the season that you had last year? you're in a position where you can push on or try and go for the shootout, just control of it. I mean, how did that feel when you actually went into overtime?
I mean, we had the idea of winning. We didn't want to sit back. We wanted to take it to them. We thought we had taken it to Vaxos the whole game, and we wanted to keep on doing that. And that was our game plan from the get-go, and we didn't want to change our game plan just because it had gone to overtime. We wanted to take advantage of our opportunities. We wanted to keep on bringing the pace to them and control the pace of the game, and we did a good job of that. And then when we got the power play, I think a lot of us were really excited about that. An opportunity to go up and overtime is obviously huge with that extra player, and it worked out well for us.
And then obviously Valley getting that goal. I mean, how was that feeling when obviously, it goes in, you can see yourself, the fans, the coaching team, everything that you guys have worked upon. Obviously, you don't know about the history and stuff until afterwards, but with Sims and everyone there, it must have just obviously hit you very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you win a game in sudden death overtime is huge. When it becomes at a bigger level like that against a team in the SHL, then it obviously exponentially grows. And we were excited about that. We didn't know that it was. I didn't know at least that it was the first time that an English team had beat a Swedish elite league team. So that was pretty cool to be able to learn that and to hear about that, and just hear from opposition fans too, and coaches and players on the other team saying like, we outplayed them. We took it to them. It wasn't like, we got outshot 100-10 and we just, got lucky on a couple goals. Like, we really brought the pace to them throughout the game. And it felt good getting that victory, and we got the taste of victory again in our mouths, and we're ready to keep on going.
And of course, it's a team game and everything like that. But a lot of platitudes was sent your way. Obviously, social media, the hit that you did, bringing the boom and everything like that. But obviously, the fan base, the team itself actually was obviously singing your praises. I mean, how do you feel as a member of that team to get that recognition, or is it a case that it's all for the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you get to play at those levels. You want to showcase the best of your abilities, and I think the best of my abilities is to defend hard and play a game that defensively where forwards don't really want to come to my corner. And I really focused on that. I said it before, I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder losing the way we did, and not really getting a real chance to tie the game late in the game with the penalty kills against Freiburg. So I had that going in, that I sort of wanted to be the villain in that game. And I had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to dominate. I wanted to be strong for the team, and I wanted to put my best leg forward. And I think I did a pretty good job of that. And I think I laid about 15 hits that game, which was fun. It was an interesting game for sure, but it was just one of those games where everything was clicking for us. Everyone brought their best game, and we really just fully pulled out a team win there.
And how does it feel to bring the road blokes back from season into this season?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, we didn't start off the exact same way as last year, but we don't really care about which stadium we're playing. We're gonna try to bring a hard game to you, no matter where we're playing, no matter what country, no matter what arena, and we showed that against the Swedish team.
And then, of course, you get back, and now all preparations are ready for Friday and Sunday. So, with relation to playing Prague, first of all, I mean, the group must obviously be preparing as it is now to get obviously ready for the game. But what's the feeling in the group? The fact that it's everything that you built upon winning the Grand Slam. You wanted this moment. You wanted the utility. It's going to be pretty much a full house, all sell out. That European atmosphere with the fans that you know. How excited are you and the group for that game?
It's going to be awesome. During the preseason, it sucked a little bit to be at Sheffield, but at the same time, it's a little poetic that we get to have our first game at Utilita be such a big game. And whereas if we maybe didn't do as well in the first couple Champions League games, it might not have been a sellout. But I think the fans are now believing along with us that we can make an impact in the Champions League. And Sparta's a good team. We're excited to play against them. It's a different style of hockey. That's what the cool part is about the Champions League, right? Is you play a Swiss team, which is a little bit more hold on to the puck, try to make fancy plays, a high skilled game, and then you play against another Swedish team that they don't really take opportunities unless if it's grade A opportunities, and they really are nitpicky about what opportunities they take to try to take a shot on net and stuff. So you kind of learn to play against different styles of hockey wherever you go, because every league and every country sort of has its own specific style. You watch Finnish games and they like to turn back with the puck and it's all about possession. And then, Czech leagues is more of a tougher dump and chase and go and get the puck with body contact type of hockey. So it'll be interesting to see another style of play. A lot of guys haven't played in Czech before. I have a couple of years of experience there, so I'll be a little bit more knowledgeable about that side, I think. But I think the style that we play and the players that we have and the hockey IQ that we have on our team and on our bench definitely helps us to be able to, kind of tackle any kind of opponent or any kind of style of hockey that comes our way, because we know that if we trust in our system and in our talents and the way that we play and play that way properly and perfectly, then we can take it to anybody. And we've shown that the last two games.
That's the thing, and obviously with the games that you're playing in the THL, with the rulings that obviously you played Devils and sampled that system. I mean, how have you found the actual rulings that they have compared to what you're doing in the Elite League for game plans and game management?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, power plays and penalty kills are way more important because you get the whole 2 minutes both ways. And we let in a couple of power play goals against the Lakers, and they had a good power play, so we had to be careful about taking penalties. And last year our penalty kill and our power play were a really good part of our team. They're a big reason why we're so successful, and a reason why any team is successful is when they have good special teams. So to be able to have an opportunity to showcase our special teams for the full 2 minutes every time is great on the power play, but sometimes it's not so fun on the penalty kill. So you just gotta have to have a lot more attention to detail and really work harder when you have those opportunities, or when opportunities are presented against you too.
That's the thing. Obviously, the way the games have gone and everything like that, and obviously Sunday, the quick turnaround that you guys have got. The question really is that you played, you're pretty much playing 4 games. You've got your pre-season games, and the Elite League has started with the Challenge Cup at the moment. How is training and everything like that? I mean, do you still kind of have to, with the traveling and stuff, because obviously traveling the UK a little bit different on the bus, you're there within a few hours, but that longer time, have you had to adapt your eating methods, your training methods to these different type of games?
Um, a little bit, not too much. I mean, this is my like 7th or 8th year pro now. So, and before playing pro, I had done it before. So I've played in a bunch of different leagues where you travel less or more than this league. Like my first couple of years when I was playing in the ECHL, we would sometimes travel 8 hours on game days. So it's sort of at the end of the day, you have to figure out a way that works for you. And, it's like anything else. If you can't do the job, they'll find someone to replace you to do it. So you have to take that onus on yourself. Obviously you prefer days that are at home where you can have that kind of, stability and something that you're used to. But when you don't, you have to figure it out really quick, because whether you like it or not, the travel, the eating, the sleep, you're playing that hockey game. So you have to figure out how to bring your best effort forward.
And obviously now being a little bit closer to home, next couple of games, obviously seeing the fans probably in and around and then Sheffield. I mean, how good is it going to be obviously to get that interaction again with such a big crowd
Yeah,
expected?
it's going to be really cool. I mean, we love playing at our rink. We love playing in front of our fans. So we're just excited to bring, another 120 minutes in front of them for big games. And, we know they'll be behind us the whole step of the way. So that's really encouraging for us.
And obviously with the fans as well. I mean, after last year, and obviously the kinship you got, the cameos and stuff like that that you're doing now. I mean, when you came back to Sheffield, I mean, how's it actually been, knowing the people that you're in and around every day, making friendships, you're not thinking of going to another part of the world next year. How is it to generate roots that you can actually keep? Because with the couple of years you're here, you've got the opportunity of not pushing away or not being able to make friends or find places that you want to eat and stay to. It must
Yeah.
be something that's positive for you for a good headspace.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Whenever you can go back to somewhere else that's like home, obviously my first home was back in Canada, but really found a way to call this my second home last year. And, a large part of that was just how accepting the community was, how accepting the coaches, the staff, and all our teammates are of, just each other and, everyone around us. It's just it's the best group of guys that I've played with. Like it's not even close. So easy decision to want to come back. And at a stage in your career, you just want to play somewhere where you're happy and not have to worry about potential variables that you're not aware of, like whether you like the coach, whether the coach likes you, whether you'll play in front of 500 fans or 10,000 fans, kind of thing. So going back to a place that a place that you really love and that loves you back is huge.
And then obviously it'd be remiss to not talk about last year, really. I mean, when you have the summer off and you're not on the ice, I mean, did you have to pinch yourself when you were on holiday, when you went back home to everything that you guys achieved?
I mean, yes and no. I think every year you go into a hockey season, you go in thinking we're going to win a championship this year, because if you don't go in thinking that, then you've already lost, right? So it was almost the opposite effect, where it was just satisfaction, where we really couldn't have done much better last year. Losing, I think we lost 8 games all year last year. So having that satisfaction of just, really did a good job, really, did our work last year and got rewarded for it. So it was a lot of satisfaction, a lot of relief, finally getting some trophies, and bringing it to a town that has been thirsty for them for a long time. So I wouldn't say like shock. It was more just happiness and feeling like what you did that year really mattered to not just you, but to a town, to people, to fans, and to a city.
And then when you're doing your information, fact finding about leagues and stuff like that, when you started to play games in and around in the teams that you faced, was it a surprise to you that obviously the level of competitiveness and the team's toughness that you were facing each week?
You mean last season, like in the
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, last season, they obviously
Yeah,
the teams and the players that
I got asked. I remember I got asked my first year pro. I had fought a couple of tough guys in my first year pro, and was sort of up and down between the American League and the coast. And I got some messages from teams in this league, and at that time I was thinking like I'm not going to play in England, like 8 or 9 years ago, just because the league wasn't what it is today. And then obviously knowing Champ and playing with him before, and him coming in 2 years ago and playing a full season here, and really let us know, he's like, man, this league has gotten way better. Like it's a really competitive league. Like it doesn't get the remarks that it should get. And so I guess knowing Champ and knowing how honest he is in terms of hockey, I wasn't too surprised, because I knew that he knows the game and can be a good judge of that. So and I think it's even gotten better this year with some of the level of players that other teams have brought in and some of the guys that we've brought in. I think it's really good for this league that it's growing exponentially every year, and there seems to be more fans and more excitement about it. It wouldn't be surprised if we're bigger than the English Premier League in a couple of years. I'm just kidding, no.
no, no.
But no, it's cool the way it's growing. And it's good for kids. It's good for Team GB winning the World Championships a couple of years ago there and moving up. It's just the way that a sport grows overseas. They see players who bring a better product on the ice, and instead of looking at players on Arsenal or Man City or Man United or Sheffield United, they look at guys on the Steelers, or they'll look at guys on the Giants, or they'll look at guys on Cardiff and think, like, I want to be that guy instead, and I want to play this sport. I want to try this out because it seems pretty cool, and it's fun to be a part of that. It's fun to be a part of a league that's growing, that kids can look up to and see, fall in love with it the way that all of us did, and find a new passion.
And then for you, I mean, seeing obviously every time I've been to a game, how many Tansey jerseys that I see, and how many kids I see with beards as well between you and Sourceman as well. But I mean, how does that actually, translate to you that so many people have kind of taught you to their hearts as like a fan favorite?
It's really cool, you know. I mean, I'm pretty interactive with the fans, so I've usually been pretty good with the fans, but I haven't seen fans like here before. Like it's crazy, you know. Other places you'd go, you'd see maybe 10 or 12 Tansy jerseys, but nothing like the beards, nothing like signing autographs for 30 minutes before a game and 45 minutes after a game and seeing, you know, a couple hundred jerseys that have your name on it. It gives you a sense of pride. It gives you, you know, a sense of welcoming that you want to do as much as you can for that town and for those people to make them happy and bring them championships.
And then obviously that leads me really into obviously championships. I mean, last year as a player, you played 69 games, all domestic, 13 goals, 24 assists, so 37 points in the end. I mean, what highlights have you got game wise? I mean, a goal or something that happened in a game that you could just like literally just click on and just say to me, that's the one I'll take with me.
It's the last goal of the season. It's not even close, and it wasn't even because it was you know, it wasn't because it was me. I think if anyone had scored that goal, it would have been the last goal of the season because that was really the we did it. You know, we won all three trophies, and like I have goosebumps right now still thinking about it. Just like, you know, setting out to, you know, we set out to win three trophies, but you know, you realize how hard that actually is because there's so much that goes into it, and it's not just hard work and talent and sticking to your system. There's also a ton of luck in winning championships, right? Like you have to stay healthy as a team, you have to bond as a team. You know, there's bounces in games, big games that go one way or another oftentimes, and you know, when that puck crossed the line and you know the crowd erupted and everyone on the bench erupted and the whole town erupted, it was something I'll never forget.
I mean, I had a different reaction when your goal went in because what I needed to do, but in the circumstances. But yeah, you kind of sealed the deal. But yeah,
Would you have done it if we lost?
no, no. If you won, literally, I was thinking, I proposed. Literally, mate, you were the one.
Yeah,
You secured the
if
game.
we
Yeah, I mean,
lost the game, would you have done it that night or would you have picked another night?
I'd have probably picked another night if I'm honest. It would have been a
Okay.
bit of a dance, but it had to be
Well,
that
you're
moment.
welcome.
Yeah, not to take away anything from you guys. Obviously, I made sure I didn't, but
No,
it
absolutely.
was a really good night. For what happened, of course. But yeah, so atmosphere. For your first playoffs, being in Nottingham, the arena that it was, and pretty much the atmosphere that was pretty much one corner was Steelers all the way, and then people had signs saying on loan teams that were just anyone but Sheffield, and it
Yep.
was back to the wall. I mean, do you get that feeling on the ice, or can you see it, or is it just basically fully focused mode?
I mean, it's fully focused mode when I'm on the ice, but you know, away from the rink and you know, thinking about the rink is something you can't ignore it. You know, it's there. But you know, I take pride in being the villain. You know, I want to make my city happy. I want to make my team happy, but you know, I almost like making other fans in other cities unhappy more, if that makes sense. Like, you know, I pride myself in being someone who's hard to be against on the ice and someone who, you know, takes away chances from teams and snuffs out hope. And, you know, I think just having that mindset is what's driven me my whole time is just, you know, I want to be a hindrance on whoever I'm playing. And, you know, it's easy to do that here because fans don't like us.
And that's the thing, you kind of think about it because I know from experience, that everyone is kind of anti-Steelers with what they do and everything like that. But for you to play the villain and everything like that, and you see, social media is a kind of a hotbed, really, that anything positive that you guys do, you're in a position where people will knock it down, but you've had that success where you can actually push back and have a laugh and a joke about it. I mean, do you ever feel like when you're doing it, it's good fun to have banter with people within the Elite League on social media?
Yeah, you know, you like doing stuff harmless in ways. You know, I think it's all fun and games. I find you know, it's obviously the sample size is a little bit different because of how good we were last year, and you know, being able to give that banter back. But it's about interacting with the fans. It's an entertainment sport, right? It's for the fans, and if there weren't fans that were, crazy for us and crazy against us, then I wouldn't have a job. So I like to give back the banter whenever it's appropriate, and in harmless ways that I think will make people laugh or make people kind of cringe a little bit at some of the comments that people say. I think it's a good clean fun.
And talk about having fun. As a person who came in last year about the Eddie and now explaining people what the Eddie is for the newbies, I mean, do you kind of get this vibe that they don't fully know that you're being deadly serious when it says it's time for the Eddie, especially with the ice show for the first couple of times, or are they fully
Yeah,
aware?
I mean, I think guys are kind of understand it once you explain it to them, because the Carolina Hurricanes do something similar with like the team, their power surge or whatever they call it there. Like different teams do it. I'm actually kind of surprised that we're the only team that do it over here, because in other leagues they have something similar where sometimes it's the whole team or the player of the game in different ways. But again, it's about interacting with the fans. It's about putting on a show for the fans, and it's a fun part to have some fun with them.
And then obviously with last year as well, with Fluxland 2017.
It brings back just the way that it came about in our locker room, and what it meant to the guys, and it was just kind of a rallying point for us that really got us together. It was just a fun way to do it, but at the same time, I think a lot of the guys in the room now are, we what's done is done kind of thing. We're always going to remember that. We're always going to remember the Fluxland song, and it's always going to hold something dear to our heart. But that was last season. So it's time to move on a little bit. The new season has come. Let's find a new song to rally around. And, like I said, I think it's nice to hear every now and then, but we want to turn the page, because we won championships last year, but we haven't won anything this year. So it's time to focus our thoughts on this season, and try to rally around that.
And bring back Sweet Caroline. Everyone loves Sweet Caroline. So that kind of leads it in. The last thing really for last season is the game against Guildford, the first Elite League game where the banners are going to go up. I mean, the fact that you're there and a lot of the players are actually there as well, is that kind of the line in the sand? It's going, it's Elite League, we're back. This is whole new Steelers team. We want to success it while celebrating with the fans as well.
Yeah, it'll be a fun, beginning of the ceremonies. It'll be a good sort of closure, I guess, from last year, and really kind of put everything to bed, and then celebrate with the fans. And once that puck drops, it's a whole new year. And like I said, we haven't won anything this year, so it's just going to be kind of like a start the clock now, because we're going to be at the same spot at the standings as everybody else once that puck drops, which is 0 points everywhere, 0 wins, 0 losses. So time to start racking those up, and having a good season and focusing on this year.
And as a player, I mean, I know the CHL games are kind of now and you couldn't fully focus on that. But in the summer, did you see what the other teams were doing roster wise and thinking, obviously, these are the players that you're going to come against? Or is it a case of, I just focus on my own game?
A little bit. I like to take a break in the summer. I don't pay attention to too much hockey in the summer. It's always short, and it gets shorter every year, as you get older, and you miss birthdays and you miss weddings and stuff when you go away. So I really try to focus my time on being with family and friends when I'm back. Did a good job of that this summer, and just kind of, you keep an eye on it, especially because when you play hockey as long as we all have, like, I mean, I know 4 or 5 guys on pretty much every team. It's actually funny because now our biggest rivals captain, Sam Hare on Nottingham, is actually like a good buddy of mine. So it's just funny to do that, and go like that. But it's funny too, because I mean, the style that I've played, I think a lot of guys will play against each other a little bit softer if they are playing against friends or something, whereas I'm kind of the opposite, where I've I've lost a couple of friends along the way just because, I'll still make that big ice check, or if someone, does something bad to one of my teammates and they're my buddies, I'm still going to drop the gloves with them. And, it's just, it's just part of the game that's instilled in me, and try to play that way every single night.
And that's the thing, obviously, with playing players that you know and having opportunities to play these teams. It must be one of those things that a lot of teams now, because to be fair, they probably recruited in such a way because of everything that you guys did last year. So the league is going to be of a higher level. I mean, what's your thoughts on that? That you've kind of obviously been kind of the catalyst because the performance that you guys did, not losing pretty much back to back, and the high performances that you did throughout last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, it comes back to growing the game, right? And I think it's good for the league. It's good for the game in this country to grow it. It's getting up there, and fan recognition. If there's a better product on the ice, there's going to be more people that come, and that's good for hockey in total. So, we're accepting of the challenge. Whether people want to say, we had a catalyst movement in making the league a little bit better is, that's up for debate. I think every team wants to win, and I think every team brings the players in that thinks they can win. And it's sort of like I said, it's hard work, it's determination, and a little bit of luck that goes into it. So I'm excited for the new challenges this year, and it'll be a fun ride again.
And obviously, for a second season, do you know what the league's kind of like now? Do you kind of set yourself targets or goals or anything, like a certain figure of anything that you're going to do throughout the season, or is it just game by game,
Yeah, we
play by
want to
play?
win 3 trophies, 4 actually.
Yeah.
That's the target. That's the target every year, and that's what you work to. And personal goals come along when you play a team game. Whenever I go out on the ice, I have my little motto, and I say that, it's time to leave the ego aside. It's a team game. I want to do what's best on this jersey. I want to do what's best for the logo on the front of the jersey, while being honorable to myself in the back, and playing as best as I can, as hard as I can for the logo on the front of the jersey. So I guess those are my goals, is just to bring my best of myself personally, whether that's not scoring a goal all season, but shutting down top lines all year, or scoring 50 goals. It's however I can help the team win, because that's what I want to do. I want to win. I don't care. I don't care about my individual stats, as long as at the end of the day we win.
Perfect. And then obviously, just the last one from me, question wise, is what message would you have for the fans that are listening to this interview?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're set up for a good season again. Like I said, I think our team arguably got stronger this year. We've added some really good players, and I think it's another season to be excited about. And we're ready to play and Utility in front of everybody.
Kevin, well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Problem.
So I'm here with Steelers defenseman Kevin Tansey, and we're going to go through the quick fire question. So, Kevin, favorite band or singer?
Sorry, fair what?
Favorite band or singer?
Oh, right now, I really it's a tough one. I gotta go with my brother, I guess.
Yeah. So favorite takeaway meal out?
Depends on the mood, but either sushi or pizza.
Okay. Favorite TV show or film?
Breaking Bad.
Favorite holiday destination?
Went to Greece this past year, and that was pretty awesome. So we're gonna have to say Greece, or just going back home for the summer.
And favorite Taylor Swift song?
Teardrops on my guitar.
Favorite NHL team?
Montreal Canadiens or Ottawa Senators. Probably Montreal Canadiens.
And what job would you do if you weren't in hockey?
Good question. We don't have to worry about that for a while, but I want to open a sports gym eventually, or coach hockey, or be in hockey in some other fashion. But other than hockey completely, it would be opening a sports gym.
Okay. So these is the team now. So who's the best dressed?
Best dress. Well, besides myself, obviously. Probably Dowdy.
Worst dressed?
Champ.
Best answer.
Sauce or me?
You can't answer them all as you. But no, worst answer.
Yes, no.
But who's the worst answer?
Worst answer. Probably Greener.
Oh, okay. Who's got the best taste in music in the locker room?
Oh, that's tough. There's two guys who come to hand were guys who played on the team last year.
You can pick them. They won't know.
I mean, Scott Allen or Zach Fennell. They had great taste in music. Probably Mark Simpson this year.
Oh, okay. Who's got the worst taste?
Probably one of the young guys. I don't know. I don't even listen. I don't even know what they listen to, but definitely one of the younger guys.
And who's the joke of the class clown in the group?
Can I still not answer myself?
I mean, you can. At the end of the day, it's your quick
that's
fire question. You answer who you want.
that's definitely me. Maybe Sauce too.
There you go. So who's the first one to arrive in the group and who's the last to leave?
First one to arrive, Sauce. Last one to arrive, me. Or last one to arrive or last one to leave?
First one to leave, first one to arrive, last one to leave.
Last one to leave, either me or Champ.
Favorite away venue?
Knocked out for this one. Nottingham. I like being the villain.
And who's the longest in the shower?
Oh, I don't know. We got a couple guys with thinning hair, so whoever has to use the shampoo that takes longer in the hair, probably. So, again, me.
And who's got the best fans in Europe?
You're gonna have to answer that question, right? Sheffield Steelers.
It's good for clicks.
There you go.